Yo, what's good? It's your boy Brandon B. Elite Live Streams. We back, baby, with another one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We got a fresh, hot topic today. So what's good, everybody out there? Just want to say what's up and salute to everybody. Hope your weeks are going good. So we got a hot story. This one is absolutely insane. Utah Senator Stuart Adams, he's changing the Utah consent law to give his family member a lighter sentence. It's absolutely diabolical work by the GOP and the which we would call the MAGA crew. Another one who's maybe part of that Epstein list, maybe they're part of that corruption, maybe they're a part of that agenda. You feel me? Especially trying to pass this for a family member is absolutely insane. It's diabolical. I cannot believe that this is happening in our beautiful country of America, and this is happening so often that it's actually sickening, right? It's sickening to think about the fact that we have literal Utah senators, okay, changing laws, all right, to accommodate for family members that are in their family personally, all right? A consent law. We're talking about underage children, okay, being taken advantage of. We're talking about predatory behavior, all right, from the Utah senator, all right, Stuart Adams. His name's right there, okay? So I want you guys to take a look at the research and the storylines that have come out since this story has broke. It's absolutely diabolical. I cannot believe that this is kind of where we're at in 2025, but this is just where we're at, guys. Like, we're gonna start seeing more of this, more of these people who are part of these organizations, more of these people who are a part of these factions and certain groups who want to pass certain laws and certain things to be able to do very, very questionable things to children. All right, this is the agenda right here, guys. All this other stuff, it's a distraction, okay? Because this is exactly what they're trying to do, okay? They want to be able to do exactly what they want, and for everyone in their families to be able to do exactly whatever they want, like taking advantage of children, like attacking and being predatory towards children. This is absolutely insane. This is probably one of the sickest stories I've heard this year. I mean, of course, there's a lot going on. Like I said, you guys have already seen. I've been talking about that Epstein case, and I'm never going to stop talking about it until the files are released. So I don't care who's out there. I don't care who you are. We're going to be talking about that list. We're going to be talking about the corruption that's happening and also the abuse to young children. And I don't care who's out there. I don't care. All right. That's what we're doing here on Elite Media. We're here, the truth tellers. All right. The truth tellers are right here. Elite Media. Straight up. So let's watch this video that breaks down a good amount of what's been happening and what's been going on this story. And so shout out to this brother. His name is Nard News Now. Salute to Nard News Now. Make sure to like and subscribe to his channel. He makes great content, and this is a really, really sick story. And I had to talk about this because this one was just insane, absolutely diabolical work, nasty work. All right, disgusting behavior. All right, at the highest level, guys. All right, so peep this out.
Well, what do you know? Another Republican, another pedo. GOP Senator Stuart Adams changed the legal age of consent in order to help his relative get away with felony charges, 2 counts of rape and 2 counts of child sodomy. Back in 2023, Senator Adams' relative was charged with those crimes. However, when Senator Adams found out, he said he was surprised by the severity of the charges.
All right, right there, okay? They admitting that his family member was a part of this case. In 2023, he was convicted, all right? That was proven of his behavior and things that he did, right? So the senator, right, seeing this happen to his family member, what does he do? He goes and he tries and he changes the law. He changes it. He didn't try, he changed it. Okay, this is happening in real time. This is happening right now. He went and he changed it literally in our faces, guys. So peep this out, because this is absolutely insane. This is so diabolical. I cannot believe that this is kind of where we're at in this world, where people feel the need to be able to take advantage of children. Like, what the heck?
The senator's relative was facing 25 years and will have to register as a sex offender. But
All right. He's facing 25 years and he would have to register as a SA. Okay. He would have to register every year, and then he would also be up against 25 years in prison, which is justifiable, right? For a child molester or someone who is taking advantage of children. They deserve to be in prison. Facts. They don't, in my opinion, deserve to live, but that's a whole other conversation, okay? So we continue.
Out of nowhere, Senator Adams, along with lawmakers in Utah, amended the policy. The age of consent is 18 in Utah. However, someone that's 14 and 15 can consent if someone is less than 3 years their age. The senator's relative was 18 and the victim was 13 years old at the time.
All right. 18 and 13 years old, guys. All right. 18 years old and 13 years old, guys. That is sick. All right. Listen, we've all been children. We've all been around children. We've all grown up. We've all, seen things. But to be at an age, right, 18 years old, I had no interest in being around anyone who was 13 years old. I'm just keeping it real. If anything, we're looking up, right? We want to look at people who are older than us, right? Why would I, as an 18-year-old young man, be hanging around a 13-year-old child? Please help me understand that, because that's what happened, okay? This young man was caught as an 18-year-old with a 13-year-old, okay? The senator's family member, all right? Caught, convicted, all that stuff. So let's continue.
So that means he should have been charged as an adult. However, they amended the policy verbiage to this. If the defendant is less than 4 years older than the minor at the time of sexual activity occurred, or the defendant is 18 years old and enrolled in high school at the time the sexual activity occurred, it now goes down to a misdemeanor. And
family, catch that, okay? Instead of this being an actual crime now, this becomes a misdemeanor because he wants to classify the kid as being in high school so that he doesn't face the penalties that he should face as an adult, right? For messing with a 13-year-old child as an 18-year-old. They changed the law so that the 18-year-old could get off, right? Because he's technically still in high school, so that his family member can be able to do disgusting things to people. This is insane. What?
Because of that policy change, his relative is now being charged as a minor, and he would not have to register as a sex offender, and he would not do any jail time. And
there you go. All right. He just skates from it. He won't have to do any jail time. Okay. He will be charged as a misdemeanor and this will go away. His life will not be ruined. He will never see the light of day when it comes to any jail time. He's good, right? This is insane. This is what happens, though. This is what I talk about, what I mean when it comes to corruption, right? Everyone talks about the Epstein files and whatever. Okay, this is it right here. This is exactly what that is. All right. Collusion between everyone across so many different states, across so many different factions of not only the Republican Party, but also the Democratic Party. They're all a part of this. OK, this is a corruption from the top. OK, and all of they do is protect these PDFs, man. That's literally what we see. Everyone talks about, oh, save the children, whatever. OK, well, guess what? When we have senators, when we have people who are politicians protecting the PDFs, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a collusion and a protection of PDFs across the board. Okay. And not only that, we have a president in the White House right now who has been implicated, who is sat next to a trafficker of children. Okay, this is what we talking about, man. This is what's going on. This is how we are being lied to, right? We're being deceived every single day, right? The veil is always being put over our faces because what? Because they are choosing a life that is not centered around goodness, around doing the right thing. Okay, it's all about corruption and hiding stuff and trying to change the narrative. We're changing laws. We're doing whatever we can to protect ourselves. Okay, so pay attention to that. All right, these politicians, they don't care about us, man. All they're here to do is to take the resources that we give them and be able to choose and do whatever they want. And no one's holding them accountable, okay? Nobody's talking about this story. This story is being buried, okay? Nobody's talking about this. I'm doing my Google research. I'm looking up. I'm trying to find some, some stories, some main, lines. We're talking about this. No one but independent media, all right, is talking about this story right now. This is absolutely insane. Like, I cannot believe that this is the era that we're living in, guys. It's crazy.
That is why I keep saying relative instead of the defendant's name, because he is charged as a minor, and because it is charged as a minor, their names are sealed. I am really starting to believe this whole GOP meme. Well, what do you
Listen,
know?
y'all, I totally understand where a lot of people come from now when they talk about just kind of the corruption that happens every single day. And, of course, there's a big faction of people who have literally dedicated their lives to exposing, the corruption and the BS that goes on within the community, right? Within our community of, the United States, right? And so many people have come out here and made it clear, right, that they are trying their best to cover up and make these things not be what they are. And it's insane that, as a society, we've watched, you know what I mean? We've watched these guys just skate and be able to take over and do whatever they want at any moment. And then at the same time, we're sitting here lost, we're out of work, we're lost, we're tucking, money away. We're trying to figure out what's happening in the economy, why this isn't that, and these guys are over here passing laws to help their, relatives. Like, bro, how does this help anything? How does this help society? What is going on, right? And so here's the news article, right? Of, this is, I think this is the local news in Utah, and they're basically saying Democrats call for Utah Senate president to resign after reports that he abused the power in a child R word. Okay, so let's peep this out, guys.
Watch the big political story today. Utah Democrats are calling on Senate President Stuart Adams to step down. It comes after a Salt Lake Tribune report that uncovered Adams had an undisclosed personal connection to a law that was changed in 2024.
All right, so peep that. This happened in 2024, guys. So this already happened like a whole year ago. All right, and so this already happened, and it's barely reaching the mainstream, right? They're barely even bringing this to the forefront, right? For us to be able to make our own assessments and be able to kind of figure out what's happening here, right? They have already decided what's happening. And so here we are trying to live our lives, bro. And then all of a sudden, now we have these things that have come up. And mind you, no one is talking about this. It's only local news, very, very small, independent media, independent YouTubers like myself and other YouTubers who are actually talking about this. And it's really crazy because this is probably one of the craziest stories of 2025. This guy literally changed a law so that his family member could get off. Do you know what that means? The ramifications, right, of someone being able to change a law and then just being able to do whatever he wants and then move. Bro, I can't believe this is the world that we live in, y'all. It's crazy sometimes.
Jordan Tracy's been following the story for us today. He joins us live from the state capitol. Jordan, tell us all about this. It's making waves in Utah politics right now.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. So this all stems from an article written by Robert Gerke of the Salt Lake Tribune that outlines that Senate President Stuart Adams had a personal connection with an 18-year-old who was being charged for having sex with a 13-year-old. Now, the report says that Senate President Adams...
All right, now pay attention, right? Pay attention. How they changed the age, right? Initially in the report that we just showed you guys, they confirmed that that child was 13 years old. Now, all of a sudden, the child is 15. Y'all got to pay attention, okay? Y'all got to pay attention to how they be moving the goalposts and how they'll slowly change the reality to a lie, okay? How quickly they'll be able to manipulate to make someone else look good, even in the point of them exposing, right, this happening. They're still protecting the PDF, man. Still trying to make it seem like he, she was only 15. No, she was 13 years old. 13 years old. It is confirmed that she was 13 years old, family. And we're dealing with this crap. Like, what the hell?
Only confided in Senator Kirk Cullimore about this, who ran Senate Bill 213 to change this law, and Democrats are saying it's an abuse of power.
Democratic State Senator Nate Bluin is calling for Senate President Stuart Adams to resign. Citing the report from the Salt Lake Tribune, he believes Adams used his power to get this law changed.
The law was changed based off of conversations that happened behind closed doors that we certainly weren't a party to.
I mean, of course, bro. Of course they happened behind closed doors, bro. I mean, the thing is, you know, a lot of these conversations that he's talking about, they could be about totally other topics, and he's in those conversations, right? But like I said, when it comes to particular things, yeah, sure, you're not going to be privy to a conversation where a dude is trying to protect his family member who is a PDF. Okay? Yeah, you're not going to be in those conversations. Yeah, they're going to keep you out of that. No problem. But what about all the other conversations, sir? Mr. Nate, all right? Because guess what? All those other conversations, they're all doing it. They're all part of this. They're all including in a part of this. Sure, he's speaking out against it, whatever. But I can only imagine how much goes on in Utah. All right, let's keep it a buck. We know what goes on in Utah.
That we didn't have an understanding of, that we didn't know about when we were taking a vote on this issue. And so we shouldn't be changing the law in regards to specific individual cases. It should.
Okay. So also peep how he said that we didn't initially know this when we went in for the vote. So listen, that means that he already voted for this to happen. And that's what I mean. Two feathers of the same bird, right? Okay. They both collectively said, okay, it could be fine for an 18-year-old to be with a 13-year-old as long as he's still in high school, which is disgusting and totally ridiculous and like enrages me beyond my comprehension, right? They already agreed with it. He's upset because he found out that, oh, he actually had a family member who was directly affected by this, so it actually directly benefited him. Bro, why weren't you even thinking about anything before that, about the children, about who people were actually hurt, who would be hurt from this? Oh, now it's a problem because his family member is benefiting it? Like you didn't. Nah, please, bro. That's what I mean. Fake outrage, the this is wrong outrage, but you guys voted for this initially until you found out. You don't think he had some sort of incentive to bring this to the table? Why wouldn't somebody question this? Why now? Why do you want to change this now? What's going on? What provoked this? Nobody asked that question? Come on, man, please.
Be based off of what is best for the entire state.
Since Bluin's call, Utah Democratic Party Chair Brian King has joined the call for Adams to step down. Senate Bill 213 changed the criminal code so that an 18-year-old who is actively enrolled in high school would be charged as a juvenile for having sex with a 13-year-old and face a third-degree felony. It passed with broad support, including a yay vote from Representative King. Bluin voted against it in the Senate. But Bluin says his overall issue with this situation isn't the bill on its merits. It's that Adams didn't disclose his connection to reportedly anyone other than Senator Kirk Cullimore.
All right, pay attention to that. Like he said, he didn't bother him initially, right? That's what I mean. They had already voted together collectively that this was okay. He's only upset because it benefited his family members. You guys need to pay attention. All right, this is what they do. Okay, they all are collectively a part of this behavior, a part of this PDF behavior, a part of this child behavior where they're literally going out of their way, okay, to protect PDFs and also to allow them to be able to do whatever they want and not serve any type of consequences for it. This is where we're at, guys. Okay, he's only upset because his family member benefited, bro. How would you not be upset at all? This is a terrible, terrible situation. And so people always talk about, oh, protect the children. Nobody cares, bro. Look at these vampires sitting around, man. Look at those vampires, bro. You serious? Nobody cares, dude.
Some transparency as this was going forward would have been helpful in really counteracting what we're here talking about today. If there had been an acknowledgement in the moment that this was a personal issue for someone, I think that would have probably been a whole different conversation.
Oh wow. And that's what I mean, like the alleviation of responsibility that these guys like try to, have is like so ridiculous. It's like, oh well, it may have been a different conversation if we talked about that. Well, bro, the same conversation is still relevant. A 13-year-old should at no circumstance ever be in any type of relationship with an 18-year-old, bro. That's ridiculous. And to say that that's okay only because the 18-year-old is in high school is like, bro, you guys have literally the most warped perception that I've ever seen. And it's insane that we have to deal every day with the BS, the lies, the corruption, the predatory spirit every day, bruh. Because every day there's some story like this coming out talking about these people who are doing things in our government, all right, who are going out of their way to change laws to benefit family members that they are literally using, dude. It's crazy. Like, I really have no words for this. Like, this literally enrages me beyond any type of like comprehension, bro. It's sick.
In the Tribune report, Adams says he didn't push for the law change and it did not impact the case he was connected to. He released a statement Friday saying, in part, Senator Nate Bluen's recent attacks exemplify misleading political grandstanding fueled by misinformation and deliberate distortions. He continued that contrary to fabricated and baseless claims, the law is not retroactive, does not alter the legal age of consent, and does not apply to incidents of rape, aggravated sexual assault, or offenses involving force, coercion, or threats.
Family, this is all just hyperbole. It's all BS, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you're changing laws, okay, to benefit someone in your family, right? That's semantics. The semantics is, oh, well, we never changed the age of consent. The age is still the same. And it's like, no, dude. What you did was irresponsible and totally ridiculous because it directly benefited you, it directly benefited your family, and for whatever reason, now this could send waves of implications across the entire US, right? Because now the floodgates can open for all of these PDFs to be able to do whatever the heck they want to do. And we're so tired. I'm so tired of the protection of PDFs. It literally enrages me. I do not understand why people do this. I do not understand why they protect them. I do not understand why they're not fed to the wolves immediately. I just don't get it, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just from a different time. I don't know, bro.
And you can see the full statement from Senate President Adams on our website, abc4.com. We also reached out to Senator Cullimore tonight and had not gotten a response by the time of the broadcast tonight. Now, what does Senator Bluen want to see here? Well, he wants to see an investigation of an ethics complaint, possibly, or even, as he called for Senate President Adams to step down. But there was no indication tonight that any of that will be moving forward.
Yeah, that ain't happening, bro. Ain't none of these guys stepping down. Ain't nothing gonna happen. They'll be able to continue to terrorize and destroy and be able to, use their power to protect their family members and being able to keep them protected. This is what's happening, y'all. And I just want to hop on here and bring this storyline to you guys because I'm going to continue to press the line about the corruption that's going on in our government and their infatuation with children and SA and, all type of trafficking. They're obsessed with that stuff, guys. So I'm going to keep my foot on the gas and I'm not going to stop, man, because that's what we do here at Elite Media. We keep it real. You feel me? Nothing but truth. All we do here, we truth tellers. So salute to everybody out there. I'm gonna be back with another one real quick as well. We're gonna talk about a few other things, but make sure to like, share, and subscribe. My name is Brandon B. This is Elite Media, and we out. Peace.